I did, but as usual, I took care of it that way.
Good evening, all. It's 5:07. We're going to call this meeting to order. May we please have a roll call?
Vice Mayor Baxter,
Here.
Commissioner Flores, Mayor Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Powell,
Present.
Commissioner Sachs, Commissioner Wise,
Happy to be here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you'd all stand, we're going to do a prayer and a pledge. Dear God, as we gather here today, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community. Keep in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make the world a better place. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty, as we open up this second hearing, may I get a motion to adopt the agenda? I have a motion from Commissioner Flores, a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. May I get a motion to receive and file proof of publication?
Second.
Okay, I got a motion from Commissioner Flores, a second from Vice Mayor Baxter. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Under trim, we are first required to read into the record the percentage increase in millage over rollback rate and specific purposes for ad valorem tax increase. Mr. Abruzzo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In accordance with the Truth in Millage Trim Bill, the Board of County Commissioners shall hold hearings on a tentative budget and proposed millage rate. As stipulated in the Trim Bill, the first substantive issue to be discussed shall be the percentage increase in the millage over the rollback rate necessary to fund the budget, if any, and the specific purpose of which ad valorem tax revenues are being increased. Page 4, Palm Beach County countywide proposed millage rate of 4.5000 is 6.10% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote. Palm Beach County Library District proposed millage rate of 0.5491 is 6.33% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, MSTU, proposed millage rate of 3.4581 is 6.23% over the rollback rate. This requires a supermajority vote. Palm Beach County Jupiter Fire, MSTU, proposed millage rate of 1.7251 is 11.47% over the rollback rate. Palm Beach County aggregate proposed millage rate of 6.2862 is 4.64% over the rollback rate. Palm Beach County countywide voted debt millage rate is 0.0330. Increases over rollback revenue for fiscal year 2026. Explanation of increases. Countywide, sheriff net tax increase $121.9 million. Increases in other constitutional officers, including judicial, $12.1 million. Increases in BCC operations net of revenues, $15.3 million. Increase in non-departmental operations, $4.3 million. Decreases in reserves, $53.8 million. Decreases in majority revenues and gas tax, $24.1 million. Increases in capital projects non-applicable. Decreases in debt service, $6 million. Increases in other funding sources, $28.8 million. Decreases in beginning balance brought forward, $23.4 million. Additional taxes from new construction and rollback rate, CRA rollback adjustments, and tax loss from reevaluations, the Value Adjustment Board, $23.6 million. Increase, decrease over under rollback revenue, $88 $1,722,420. County Library, increases in library operations net of revenue, $3.2 million. Increases in reserves, $22.2 million. Increases for transfer to Library Improvement Expansion Fund, $50,000. Decrease in beginning balance brought forward, $1.9 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate and tax loss from reevaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, $1.4 million. Increase decrease over under rollback revenue, $5,921,287. Fire Rescue MSTU, increases in fire rescue operation net of revenues, $45.8 million. Increases in reserves, $18.8 million. Decreases from transfer to capital project fund, $5.7 million. Increase in beginning balance brought forward, $23.9 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate, CRA rollback adjustments, and tax loss from reevaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, $6.8 million. Increase decrease over under rollback revenue, $28,209,310. Jupiter Fire MSTU, increases in fire rescue operations net of revenues, $3.4 million. Additional taxes from new construction at rollback rate and tax loss from reevaluations by the Value Adjustment Board, $128,000. And finally, Madam Mayor, increase decrease over under rollback revenue, $3,281,207. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. At this time, we will take public comment. Commissioner Woodward, do we have any cards?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have one card. Shane Doak. Apologize.
I apologize. I know most of you guys can't see my partner here, but my name is Shane Doak, and I'm a canine search and rescue handler. My partner here is Shadow, and I'm also a civil rights advocate. And I'm here today to provide notice before Palm Beach County and to give you guys heads up on what we're doing. I'm working with Tana Wood Downing and Jessica Saxon out of Washington, D.C. And so basically, I'm here in accordance with the USCS Rules of Civil Procedure and also Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the United States Supreme Court. Now, we all agree that the United States Supreme Court, the Constitution is the overarching requirement that all states must follow. We all agree with that, right? Unfortunately, Florida has been operating under improper ruling from Hurtado v. California, and every state has been following that ever since. And that's a denial of a grand jury indictment upon arrest for anything of a infamous or a capital offense. And we are currently have over 700,000 inmates affidavits that are part of our movement just here in Florida. We just started this movement, and we've reached over 2 million nationwide that are joining this movement to go before the Supreme Court to get this overruled. So we wanted to let you guys know that the reason I'm here today is an emolument violation. And in case you guys don't know what that is, you contact your counsel. But what it is it's where you pay an official to break the law. And unfortunately, that's what you guys are in the seat now. You guys have inherited this. It's not your fault. We don't blame you. We don't want anybody to get in trouble. We're not saying that these are not criminals. These are innocent people. These are not right, but they're just people. They're right people, and that's what we want, is to make sure that everybody gets what the Constitution provides for us. And unfortunately, Florida has not been doing that. The 14th Amendment says that no state shall create or enforce a law that abridges the privileges or the immunities of any United States citizen. Unfortunately, that's exactly what it's been doing. There's a monopoly. The blind scales have been tipped since 1884. And that's what we're fighting for. So that's why I wanted to come here and bring the notice to you guys. And I hope that you guys will get with your counsel, look at Article 1 of Clause 1 of Article 5 of the amendment, and see that we are true and just in our argument. Everybody should have a grand jury indictment if they're looking at any type of time. And unfortunately, it's turned into a money monopolizing. They had to streamline it, and this is the cost. So I hope you guys will look at it. I'm going to leave you guys a copy of this, whoever I leave it with. But please, please, do this not just for your residents. Do this for all the people who have been, even if you don't want to do it for the criminals. It's family court is also affected by this. 180,000 children were introduced into the Florida Children's Family Services just in 2023. 180,000 kids, something is wrong. So the first step is to admit that we have a problem, and let's work on fixing it. Federal, well, that's my time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys so much, and God bless.
Commissioner Powell, your light is on.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I just wanted to go back and just confirm on the explanation, we got the increase / decreases and over and under. If an item is in parentheses, Administrator Abruzzo, that means that that's a negative number, is that correct? For example, under the countywide, the final number looks to be $23,608,129 in parentheses.
That one's actually additional taxes.
That's additional taxes?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
because we have revenues and expenses, that's why we try to add, it's an increase or a decrease to the left to make sure which
So-
way it's going.
Thank you. So the total increase / decrease there would be $88,722,420.
Right.
And then under the county library, the decrease would be $5,921,287.
Right.
And then for fire rescue MSTU, for the increase / decrease, I just want to be sure I'm correct here with these numbers, is $28,209,310. Okay.
And they're all increases.
Those are increases. And the final number would be Jupiter Fire MSTU, which we said last week, this will probably be our last, well, this will be our last year doing the Jupiter Fire MSTU. And that number is $3,281,207. Did I say that correctly?
Correct.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm getting these numbers correct today. All right, thanks.
Commissioner,
Yes, sir.
if this was a decrease, it would have a parenthesis around these lines.
Perfect. So all of those are increases, starting with the $88,722,420, correct? Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, and I don't believe we have any more comment cards. Is that correct? Okay. So we're going to return to the board for discussion on countywide funds and proposed countywide millage rate. We're going to need a, Commissioner Powell, your light is still on. Finished?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am finished.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Once again, I would like to urge my fellow commissioners, Mayor, to support going to the rollback rate. I do believe our residents need a break from their taxes going up every year, and staying at the rollback rate would prevent that from happening. We're currently being asked to approve a budget of a millage rate of 4.5, and I'm asking that we go to 4.2413. I can't express enough how important this would be to the residents that we don't increase their taxes again for another year. So I would appreciate your support, and thank you. Yes, I will move to go to the rollback rate of 4.2413.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other substitute motions? Or do you want Commissioner Weiss?
Mayor, I'd like to make a substitute motion to approve certain budget transfers and amendments for those county-wide funds as more specifically set forth on pages 6 through 7 of the September 16, 2025 public hearing budget document. Such transfers and amendments total total zero and do not result in increased property taxes.
So I have a motion from Commissioner, a substitute motion from Commissioner Weiss. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second from Commissioner Powell. I see no more lights on. Going to go ahead and take a vote, please. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Madam Mayor, can I ask the county attorney, so this substitute motion, the motion I was making was on the millage rate. I believe that is the next item. Is this item that we're voting on now a proper substitute?
It is, and that would be the next item that was on the agenda, is just the budget transfers. The millage discussion would follow that one.
Again, but I made the motion for millage. The substitute is for the transfer.
Correct, and there's a certain order that needs to be followed per the statute. So the
So would we then
substitute-
remake the millage?
Yeah, that would be the
motion?
next item.
Thank you.
Yes.
So again, on this motion, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. So Vice Mayor Baxter, would you like to restate your motion?
Yes, I would like to make the motion that we go to a 4.2413 millage rate instead of a 4.5.
I have a motion from Commissioner Baxter, a second from Commissioner Woodward. Do I have anyone who wants to make a substitute motion? Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. I'd like to make a substitute motion to adopt the Palm Beach County countywide millage resolution, setting the countywide millage rate at 4.5000, which is a 6.10% over the rolled back rate of 4.2413, and requires a supermajority vote, and to adopt the Palm Beach County countywide debt service millage rate of 0.0330.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Powell. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
You want to do a roll call, Mayor?
No, it's fine. We have 2 nays, and the nays would be Commissioner Woodward and Vice Mayor Baxter. So, Commissioner Flores, why don't you lead us in a motion to adopt the budget resolution?
Make a motion to adopt the budget resolution for countywide funds in the amount of $8 billion, $35,339,724.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Flores, a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? All opposed? See
Motion
that-
to approve the sheriff's gross budget of $1,084,345,335.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? See that that motion, both motions have carried 7-0. Commissioner Sacks, why don't you lead us in the next?
Madam Mayor,
Sorry, Commissioner Powell.
thank you. I hate to slow down the process, put some brakes on it. I do want to hear a little bit about Vice Mayor Baxter had proposed a rollback to 4.2. I do want to know what that would entail in terms of conversation. And then, just for a better understanding, the sheriff's budget, which I see is under countywide, how is that covered? Where does the sheriff's budget come out of? Is that?
Sherry, why don't you go ahead and take that?
Yeah, it's part of our general fund, and it's covered by county taxes and other revenue sources.
Is a portion of that covered by ad valorem?
It is covered by ad valorem, yeah.
So, and thank you for indulging me in a quick line of questioning. So last year, the sheriff's budget increased by $71 million. I don't know, I wasn't here.
In 2025, Lisa can look up last year's or the current year's budget, see what the increase is.
So yeah, the 25 budget increased about 50 million.
Okay. And this year is 1,184,000. If we were
I'm sorry, you're asking for the total budget?
this year,
The total budget.
last
for
year, the increase
25
last
was
year,
959.6 million.
that was that last year's increase
That was last year's total budget.
total. If we were to roll back millage, would that impact the sheriff's budget?
It would impact all budgets. Rollback would mean to cut $88.7 million out of the budget. So I would say it would be both the BCC departments and the sheriff and everything else that we fund.
Okay. Last week, I discussed, on the table, we've got an increase for our employees of 6%, which I don't want to mess with. All right, I want to make sure that we pay the people who work for us. If we were to roll back, would that impact the opportunity for us to give our employees increases?
I think that everything is on the table at that point, yes.
Okay.
Commissioner, if we went to rollback, we would have to take a look at the entire budget as a whole. Just for purposes, and cannot thank you enough for your comments on staff. The entire staff increase is what, about 18, 19 million?
19 million.
19 million.
Okay. And the reason my round of questioning is Vice Mayor Baxter does, and rightfully so, wants to save our taxpayer dollars, save our taxpayers some dollars, which I think there should be maybe some opportunities to do that. I don't know what items we need to look at to be able to do so, but I don't want to impact the sheriff, nor do I want to impact our employees. But I'm willing to be workable on things or issues that we can work on, but I do want to make sure that we're able to pay the people who work for us and make sure that we keep them whole or allow them the opportunity to live in Palm Beach County because, everything is increased, including the cost of living, and it's very difficult for people who've lived here, who work here, to stay here. Earlier, we had a conversation with regard to a county attorney living in Palm Beach County. And the reason we kind of shifted to the idea of preferred as opposed to required is because it is, there's a quote by a gentleman many years ago who was running for office. He said, the rent is too blank high, and we have to figure that out. Thank you. That's all I needed. I wanted to just ask those questions.
Just as a reminder, 50%, roughly 50% of our budget goes to the sheriff. Roughly 22% of the budget goes to fire rescue, which leaves 28% of the budget for general services, which includes emergency services, parks and rec, and everything else, including salaries. So if you go to rollback and you say you don't want to change the sheriff's budget or the fire rescue budget, that means the bulk of that 80 some odd million dollars would have to come from the 28% that's remaining, and that would be programming and salaries.
It's worth saying, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for the discussion, Commissioner Powell, that you started. After last week's discussion on this with, we talked about rollback for our general fund, it got me curious because we vote on a number of millage rates, and I asked for the last 5 years for all of the other millage rates that we vote on, and I got a chart going back to 2020. The library one hasn't been lowered since then. Can you tell me when the last time the library millage rate has been decreased?
I think it's 14, 15, but.
It's been at 0.5491 since 2011.
2011.
2011. Prior to that, it was 0.4970 for a few years.
Okay, because I know my first year on the board, that this board had recently, before I was elected, lowered our general operating one, and we lowered it again. So we've had a couple of decreases on that one, but we haven't touched any of these others, and all of these are aggregate millage rates that go on property taxes. So I would like to, we've already talked some about rollback on the previous one. I would just like to state today moving forward for next year, and I'm going to ask this on each one of these, when was the last time any of them have been lowered? Because we focus a lot on the 4.5, but these others add up as well. So just giving notice for next year, all of these need to be looked at. And if they haven't been touched since 2011, we know property values have gone up tremendously since then. Why haven't we looked at lowering those as well? So I would like to, if we're not looking at rollback today, I will agree with my board. This is somewhat baked right now, but for next year, I'd like to see every one of these. If we can't reach rollback, okay, but we should be able to reach a little bit on each of these that would actually make a difference for our taxpayers. So, and before we get to the others, do we know we have four of these that we vote on, right? When have any of them been reduced recently, other than the 4.5, the general one? None of these. So this is something next year we need to, all of these need to be looked at and lowered. Thank you.
Commissioner Flores.
Let me be the first one to state this. I am in favor of lowering taxes whenever possible. However, what I'm not willing to do is sacrifice our public safety. If you go back to the rollback rate, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to cut. And one of the largest increases was public safety, and I'm not willing to do that. I think also the cost of living continues to rise. Every time that we talk about numbers here, we see inflated numbers because everything is constantly going up. Our employees also deserve a raise. The cost of living continues to goes up. We're trying to maintain a workforce, which is extremely hard when they don't get paid what the market rate is. So when we talk about going back to the rollback rate, we have to be open and honest about the conversation about what exactly it is that we're going to cut. The majority of the stuff that we do up here is essential services. People need these services to be able to do what they have to do with government. So to just say that we're going to cut without coming up with a game plan is just, to me, not the right way to go about this. We've had workshops starting in January. We should have, if there was something that we needed to address, then we should have. I also want to allow our new administrator to be able to look for efficiencies in the budget, and we haven't given him that opportunity yet. So to start asking to cut things here and there willy-nilly, that's not how we operate. That's not how it should operate. It sounds great to cut the library, but a lot of the people in the community are asking for more services and more locations of the libraries. And the library has come up with a capital improvement plan to be able to meet the needs without having to go out to get a bond. So I encourage my fellow commissioners to talk to our administration about what the library's plan is moving forward. There's a lot of needs in the library system that they need to catch up. So that's my opinion, but I'm not willing to cut down on public safety dollars to go back to the rollback rate. I know a lot of our community members expect a high level of service, and that's exactly what we do here at Palm Beach County, and I'm not willing to sacrifice to make a small indentation right now in the millage.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now, we have already voted on the millage rate, but to be clear, if we went to a rollback rate, I don't know why anyone thinks that assumption that it would definitely come out of law enforcement. I would never be in favor of cutting funding for our first responders, law enforcement, fire rescue, never in a million years. I could think of 100 other places that we could cut first. There are prioritization of spending in this county that has been a serious problem since I've been in office. Now, you can't spend enough money to solve all the problems in Palm Beach County, whether it's affordable housing, whether it's homeless, we can go down the list, substance abuse, which all of us have very personal experiences with. You cannot spend enough money to solve those problems. I can tell you who's having problems. The senior citizens that can't afford their prescription medicines because we keep raising their taxes. And then insurance rates, they keep going up. People can't afford groceries. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're soon to be homeless because we keep raising their taxes. So the idea that we can't prioritize our budget, that's laughable. So to say that if we cut or go back to a rollback rate means we have to cut law enforcement out, no, absolutely not. So I really don't like that argument, or that we can't say, hey, employees, you get paid way under what the rest of the people at regular market rate are making. thank you for a job well done. Thank you for sticking with us, especially right now in this time of transition. But I have to tell you, this is much bigger than, oh, we would be cutting it for law enforcement. No, we can look at other things we spend. We spend over $200 million a year on Palm Train alone. There are ways and areas we can cut costs. It wouldn't ever, in a million years, start with law enforcement or keeping our citizens safe. So I'm going to leave that there because it really bothers me that that would be the ultimate conclusion if we went to a rollback rate. There are other places we could cut back. So I'm going to leave that there. We've already voted on the millage rate. I do agree with Commissioner Woodward. Going forward, we should look at other millage rates as well, not just the overall one, and try to, again, if we can't get to rollback, at least reduce them. Property taxes and assessed values have gone up. We're bringing in millions and millions, 88 million more than last year. We really need to take a look at areas that we can cut back. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Sacks.
Well, I think this is a discussion we all want. Because we all want to save taxes and we all want our people not to have to pay more taxes. And I think the discussion is a good one. But let's start out with a new administrator and a new year for our budget to see how we can not cut, but make it more efficient. In a family, you try to use a little hamburger helper if you don't have the money to get steak. We need to make it more efficient. I think that is one of the themes of a new administration. And let's not forget, everybody's moving here. When I say everybody's moving, what do I mean? I mean that 72,000 people moved to Palm Beach County last year. That means more services. That means more taxes. So if by making government more efficient through technology, we can cut the fat, keep the meat, and make sure that this growth of 4.8% in our population is able to pay our taxes and also to have the services that we have always been expected to provide for our people. So this is a discussion. I'm glad we're starting it today. We'll continue it throughout the year as we look into our workshops on how to make our government operate more efficiently in a way that meets the needs of all the people. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. So I guess the charge for staff is while we are voting on this today, because it is sort of late in the budget cycle to be going back and redoing our program, you're going to be looking for a board next year that's going to be looking for a decrease in in our millage rate. So start now. Administrator Abruzzo, you've got your hands full. I know this was dropped in your lap, and as Commissioner Sacks said, baked before you got here. But that was one of the charges of the previous administrator, was to have a budget so that you didn't have that heavy lift when you got here. But suffice it to say that with the amount of money that we will raise this year in tax dollars, there are several parts of our budget that will take up that considerable amount. So yes, efficiencies, but we always want efficiencies, not just today, not just tomorrow. We always want efficiencies. So I think we are past the millage rate for the general fund. We are back to the library. Who would like to make the motions for the library? Commissioner Sacks, you want to do that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay.
Commissioner Powell, hold on one second. Commissioner Powell, your light is on.
It's okay.
Maybe he has an overdue book.
It's okay, Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Sacks wants to know if you have any overdue books.
I do, actually.
I do. I'm going to let you do this one then.
Let me just tell you, I am a frequent visitor of our libraries. I usually go to the one on Summit, but there's also one on Okeechobee. And my daughter's here now. But we spend a lot of time in the library because reading books is an invaluable act of continual learning and personal growth, of expanding the capacity to recognize opportunity and developing the robust imagination that is necessary for innovation. So, of course, we spend a lot of time at the library. It's the one place in our community where you can stand still and travel around the world. So and it's not just the library, it's a media center. If you go to Summit, we have the ability where we have an iStudio where kids can go and make music. They can complete music videos. They can work in Adobe. They can do all sorts of graphics. There's a kids area. There's so many things that our kids can do at our libraries here in Palm Beach County. So I'm glad that you asked that question. We actually do need to return our books. But let me tell you another thing about the library. I'll tell you another thing about the library. Did you know that even if your books are late and you find the book and return it a year later,
It's okay.
they won't charge you?
That's right.
That happens here in Palm Beach County because we want to make sure that our kids are reading, because reading is indeed fundamental. Thank you.
I'm so glad I asked that question.
And Doug Crane, are you in the audience?
No, he's here. He's here.
Hi, Doug. Doug will also tell you that our libraries are not just books. There are a lot of other features available at our libraries. There are books online, movies and whatnot, and space for meetings. Our Canyon Library is an awesome meeting space. So, as a matter of fact, we'll be having a countywide transportation master plan meeting there tomorrow. So, thank you for hosting that. Commissioner Sachs, you want to go ahead and make those motions?
I feel so blessed to be doing this, and if I can read, I got to thank a librarian. A motion to adopt the Palm Beach County Library District millage resolution, setting the library district millage rate of 0.5491, which is 6.33% over the rollback rate of 0.5164, and requires a supermajority vote.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Would you like to
Oh, I would love to.
do the next one?
Thank you so much, Commissioner Powell. Anyway, a motion to adopt budget resolution for the library district. I got to put my glasses on this. In the amount of $268 million, $512,133.
I have a motion. May I have a second, please? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to return to the board for discussion on the Municipal Service Taxing District, MSTD. Would someone like to make the motion to adopt the budget?
I'll make the motion to adopt budget resolution for municipal service taxing district in the amount of $167,646,387.
Can you say that again? 167,646,387? Perfect.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor,
Sure.
that was 167 million,
Yeah.
$646,387?
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
That's correct. Do we have all the right numbers? Yes. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, all opposed. See that motion carries 7-0. Commissioner Woodward, would you like to go on? And we're going to return for the Fire Rescue MSTU. Would you like to go ahead and handle that?
Yes, motion to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU millage resolution, setting the Fire Rescue MSTU millage rate at 3.4581, which is 6.23% over the rolled back rate of 3.2554, and requires a supermajority vote.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, see that motion carries 7-0. Would you like to take the next one?
Madam Mayor, motion to adopt budget resolution for the Fire Rescue MSTU Fund in the amount of $1,086,646,884.
I have a motion. May I have a second? I have a second from the Vice Mayor. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Okay, we're going to come back. Return to the board for discussion on the Jupiter Fire Rescue MSTU.
Madam Mayor, I'll make the motion to adopt the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue MSTU millage resolution, setting the Jupiter Fire Rescue MSTU millage rate of 1.7251, which is 11.47% over the rollback rate of 1.5476.
I have a motion. May I have a second? I have a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0.
Madam Mayor, I'd also like to make the motion to adopt the budget resolution for the Jupiter Fire Rescue MSTU in the amount of $30,827,578.
I I have a motion? May I have a second, please?
Second.
I'm going to give this one to Commissioner Weiss. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? See, that motion carries 7-0. We're going to return to the board for discussion on the MSTU Unincorporated Improvement Fund.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. Motion to adopt budget resolution for the MSTU Unincorporated Improvement Fund in the amount of $17,654,705. Again,
Second.
$17,654,705.
I have a motion. I have a second from Vice Mayor Baxter. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. We are back to the adoption of the aggregate millage rate. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I'll make the motion to adopt the Palm Beach County aggregate millage resolution setting the Palm Beach County aggregate millage rate of 6.2862, which is 4.64% over the rollback rate of 6.0073.
I have a motion. May I have a second, please? I have a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Madam Mayor, there was a topic I had brought up last Tuesday in regards to the budget, and after I dug in more, and I'm not sure if we should have done this sooner, but we're still here. I had looked into it more and found out that the Homeless Coalition is not actually serving as many homeless people as we thought, and they're really not serving it to the best. It seems like the majority of their budget goes to employees. And that isn't why they were created. They were created to try to help our homeless. And so I would like to make the motion to pull their funding from this year's budget.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I honestly, if there wants to have a discussion on this, I think that's absolutely reasonable, but I don't think this is the appropriate time and place to do it. Nobody is put on notice. Nobody is here to be able to, from the Homeless Coalition, to be able to talk about that. And I think it's, in my estimation, this is a special meeting held in the evening specifically on our taxing and our budget for the year. And if this item, if Vice Mayor would like to have that, I'd be supportive if you want to bring it back. But I think it needs to be part of a regular agenda and needs to be an agenda item. I need more information.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell.
Madam Mayor, I would like to know, is there anyone from the Homeless Coalition here today? Then, if the Vice Mayor has some concerns with regard to the Homeless Coalition and we're approving the budget, is there a way that we can maybe put that funding on hold and bring it back as a special issue in a contingency budget so that we can look at it? Because, if she's indicating and she's looking for ways to cut, if the Homeless Coalition or any entity is not performing or doing what it's supposed to do, at least we should have an opportunity to look at that. If we're funding and it's supposed to do one thing and the majority of what we're doing is funding salaries, that's something that we should probably really take into consideration and not negate our duty to take a deeper look. So is that something that if we could maybe put on hold for now and approve the budget for the Homeless Coalition at a different time in a contingency while we still approve this budget so we have a better opportunity to do, like Commissioner Weiss said, look deeper into it?
Madam Mayor, I think there's several ways we could look at this, Commissioner. We can bring it back in October, but there's also a contract for the Homeless Coalition that we could bring in front of you, which you could choose to not renew or get out of the contract, which then we would just have to, correct me if I'm wrong, Sherry, we could then go back in our budget and stick that in probably reserves.
Right. We can bring it back to you in October, and what we would do is do a budget amendment to take the money out of community services and put it into contingency, and then you could have that discussion if that's what you decide you want to do.
Thank you.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second
I'll-
that.
I'll third it.
Commissioner Woodward, your light is on.
Actually, I think this discussion answered my question. What are our options? And I would support.
Okay. Commissioner Powell, your light, I'm sorry, Commissioner Sacks?
Yeah. I think Administrator Abruzzo has the right idea. Let's take a look at it through our budget staff, and let's review the budget of this particular commission, and then we can decide at that time, they'll be here, we can decide at that time whether we want to renew the contract or not. Thank you. I want to thank the Vice Mayor for bringing it up, and Commissioner Powell, and County Administrator, because this is a discussion that needs to be had. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
And with that, we are adjourned.
I have one other thing that I had to correct. The Palm Beach County Educational Facility Authority Advisory Board, the name is Robert Fettling, and I just wanted to correct the record.
Oh, this is
for
an
that.
amendment from
Correct.
earlier meeting. Okay, thank
Correct.
you. Make sure you give that, the name change to the clerk. All right?